You're listening to the Overwatch Rundown, a weekly podcast covering the latest in the esports scene of competitive Overwatch. Today is November 1st, and we are covering the APAC 2017 in China. All right, Jax, another bit of a quiet week again.
That was a short intro. Covering APAC, that's it?
That's it. I know, right? I know. Well, and and we're a day late, which, first of all, my apologies. Who am I to forget that Vancouver out here has fireworks on Halloween? So recording this on Wednesday, my apologies for everyone that accidentally downloaded last week's one again. But here we are, a day late.
Thank you for the boost in our listens,
something like that. Yeah, it keeps us well fed with all of the listens, I guess. I don't know. We do appreciate it, obviously. We kid about that. I do appreciate it. Sorry about the little bit of mix up. I totally forgot about it. We probably would have recorded earlier if I had remembered this ahead of time. But fireworks sort of doesn't really help trying to talk over fireworks. But anyways, Jax, here we are. No more fireworks tonight. I guess there were fireworks, maybe you could say, at APAC 2017 in China.
Were there? I mean, did we have any really big fireworks, or I think everything that the fireworks came as expected? Looking at these results here, Leplos.
I mean, there were definitely some disappointments, some duds. What do they call those snakes? That go on the ground and basically do nothing. They grow slowly. That felt like the APAC tournament.
No idea what you're talking about. I mean, months ago, for me, ever since we had APAC last year, I was looking forward to APAC this year. The final between Rogue and Lunatic High last year at APAC, this was the original Rogue. I enjoyed so much. Seeing just thinking about some of the plays that Tavik made when he was playing for Rogue on Genji and Pharah, just some really good memories there. And then this APAC, we come into it, I've already talked about it. I'm a little bit disappointed in the teams that were invited. But we did have a couple good games.
I believe last week we talked about the group stages. So this week we will be getting into the playoffs. Before I did, Jax, just because it will be sort of a shorter week overall, I just thought it would be good to mention some other esports news related to Overwatch League.
Okay.
Because there is a plethora of stuff that came out recently with Overwatch League. So we know a couple more teams now, I think, than we did. London Spitfires was probably the most recent one, or was that Philadelphia Fusion? Two new teams being announced?
I believe it was the Philly Fusion, the Spitfire, the
Houston Outlaws. Was the other one this past week, I believe.
New York Excelsior.
Yep, that too. And they're all fighting for who can get the best intern to do their Photoshops right now, I believe.
The LA Valiant Leplos, if I had, computer graphics skills, I would definitely put in my resume, because the last 2 days they have revealed their DPS players yesterday, and then their support players today, and oh my goodness, it's clear to me, Leplos, the 20 million, all their money went into buying the slot for the league. They had a little bit left over to pay their players, but they don't have anything in the bank to pay for graphics. And LA Valiant, they gotta step up their game.
Listen, you could try and argue that they're trying to make a joke. I wish they were making a joke and continually made these like worse and worse, to the point where they're like MS painting the words.
Well, I mean,
that would at least be funny. Yeah.
Yes, but see, today's was better than yesterday's.
Yes.
Except for Uncle's shirt, LA Valiant shirt, the Valiant shirt they put on Uncle.
Well, that and they just pasted the logo. Oh, I mean, all of it was bad photoshopping on them. Like they fixed it in some. It literally looked like we need to get this out today. Does anybody know Photoshop? Like, sort of. I honestly don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could do a better job personally too. And I don't mean that to be arrogant. I'm just saying. It's clear that they don't have a good handle on that. But, I then go look at, like, the Excelsior video, and you got this parkour where the spray paint... They look like they bought...
so bad.
It honestly looked like they bought a stock video, and all you had to do was, like, upload your logo, and it will give your logo on the front. And that's what the video looked like. It looked like a stock...
I was not a fan of the website at all. The website is so basic and... uninspired. I mean, I'm glad I'm not in New York and have to pull for this team. I mean, one, I have doubts about the team, but we'll save that for our Overwatch League, our Overwatch
preview,
League preseason preview sometime this month because we're gonna have some downtime this month.
Yeah.
But let's see. So we got the Valiant. Let me see. Last week did we have the Boston Uprising?
I
Last week we
believe
had
we
the
talked
Dallas
about the
Fuel.
Uprising last week a little bit.
Okay, the Shanghai Dragons. Wait. Seoul is what? Seoul Dynasty.
Seoul Dynasty is out too. So, we have the San Francisco Shock.
I think we're waiting on the second LA team, which people are saying might be the Gladiators, and the Miami team, which some people are saying might be the Mayhem. So I suppose we'll find out. I think they wanted to have all of these released before BlizzCon started, so sometime in the next day or so. I'm sure we'll hear something. I mean, I'm wondering about rosters at this point, Leplos.
Yeah, me too.
We've heard nothing out of the Philly roster, although I'm thinking Shadowburn and Carpe, they're going to be knocking on that one. We're waiting about LA number 2, where we're hearing Sure 4, iRemix, and Bishu. I've got
wouldn't be surprised for all
some
of those.
concerns about that, and then want to see if Misfits coming off of that loss in Contender Season 1, Lepelos, are they going to acquire anybody? There's a lot of good free agent talent out there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting time. On the flip side, Jack, so if I can mention, with all this free talent, there's a lot of teams in Contenders, or rather, a lot of former members that were in Contenders that don't have an Overwatch League that are also looking for teams now. And then on the other link you sent me earlier today was Bazooka Puppies, who has a team and no members.
I believe Meza owns the rights to that slot. And see, the thing is, and something I hope Blizzard addresses at BlizzCon this week, is how is this going to work? Because, as one person in the community mentioned to Meza, be careful, don't sign anything. We don't know what's going to happen with Contender Season 2. No one knows. So I'm hoping they get rid of that ambiguity, Leplos, and lay it all out so that people know. I mean, this is important. These are people's lives. Like, I look at some of the retirement posts that we have. Like, take Too Easy. You know, he has a wife. He's working on his family Leplos. He can't be in this uncertain period. So he's going back to school. He's going to finish and get his law degree. Multiple players are now going back to school. I look at Debet, the former Cloud9 tank. He made his decision to stay at his job levels before Overwatch League even really exploded. Because,
and I think that was a smart decision. Listen,
are you saying Debet was bad? Levels?
No,
not good enough.
I don't know how he would stack up. I definitely think there's a difference in dedication required to make the top levels, and I don't think the support has been there in the Western teams for that kind of level of pro play, particularly in Overwatch.
Envy's had fantastic support from their whole organization.
Envious is one of the few organizations that top down seems to really promote that style of play through their organization. I wouldn't say that's been true. At least the attitudes of the hires that they've had in Overwatch is being true for even some of the other major ones like Cloud9, which is successful in many other games, not successful so much in Overwatch, despite what you might want to say.
I read what Jack posts on Reddit and other forums, and believes like we do, Leplos, and having the whole infrastructure in place. Like I believe, like his League of Legends team, I think he has a nutritionist, he has a cook, they have psychologists, and I look at the Overwatch team and the talent that they had at the end there, where they failed to qualify for Season 0 of Contenders, and it's like they had quality talent there.
Yeah,
Mendo and Rib were out at that point, but they had Zephyr.
They had potential there, but they didn't really capitalize on it, and I think they're trying to force too many parts together, if that makes sense. Like they hadn't really gelled. And listen, you can say the same thing about Immortals. They had all the talent there, Jax, and then they just completely floundered when it came to actual.
I really that Immortals. I think even more than E United. I wish I had access to Immortals comms just to listen to their Contenders games. They played so bad, Lepelos. And it was so bad that even the individual skills stopped coming through. Like Agilities was looking flat at times, or take Kareev, who was so dominant on Zen in Season 0 that they won, and then come back Season 1, Kareev looked, he looked like average. And so coming into the season, not Season 1, coming into the preseason, right? I'm looking, they signed Uncle. I'm saying I can see why. Then again, Uncle, he didn't have the best Season 1 either, but
no. Yeah, but they definitely struggled there, Jax. For the future, I'm going to be interested in Contenders. You were mentioning we don't know what's up with it. in the future. That's
I
for sure.
Someone made the comment, I don't know who, that Contender Season 2 could very well be better than Overwatch League Season 1. And I
Better in
believe
what
that.
sense though?
I
Like
mean,
quality of play or
quality. I mean, because I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic here because I want to get into APAC, but
yeah.
look at some of these rosters that I'm saying you gonna get stumped. Like I don't know what you're doing over there, in Boston, but
Yeah, right. But I don't know if that would make contenders better though, right? Like because I don't think you're gonna end up with a bunch of teams that are better than the Overwatch League teams. I think you might get one team that has a really great season that comes out of nowhere, aka like GC Busan did, right? And they'll reach the top of the Overwatch pantheon, I guess, for their time. But you don't know if they have the longevity. Like, do you know? This is a question.
Leplos,
do you trust GC
now you're
Busan?
mixing GC Busan
Yeah.
with the remnants of Kangdu Pantera. You know, Void is out. Who else? I forget. 2 or 3 people are of Kangdu Pantera are out. So now that I'm looking to see what Jack and Bishop. Honestly, I was surprised he kept hold of Bishop. I think the coaching was part of the problem at Cloud9 at the end there.
But it might have been the interaction with the coaching and the players, which ultimately
now he's got an all Korean roster now. So perhaps
no excuses.
You know that culture divide won't be there.
Yeah.
So some interesting storylines. I can't wait for us to do our preview show. But I suppose instead of talking about that, Lepos, we need to get into APAC.
Yeah, and speaking of APAC and in the playoffs, Jax, you know, just to try and tie this together, we have GC Busan here.
Do we? GC Busan and Runaway. From what I heard, Lepos, GC Busan had 3 days practice on the patch that was played for APAC. 3 days practice. That's it.
I don't know how much Miraculous Youngsters had either. Too. They're given a free spot in the playoffs as well, and 1-2-4-6, the other free spot in the playoffs given away to that Chinese team, and those were all the spots that were given away as automatic.
Why wasn't Ardian given a slot, Leplos?
I don't know why Ardian, they weren't even given a spot to compete, as we've mentioned many times here, Jax, previously. Lots of teams that we could have had. APAC could have been the Premier International Tournament. I think Blizzard kind of wanted to tone it down a bit to not take away from the Overwatch League coming out, because honestly, it probably would. It probably
fits
would.
This so perfectly. But that being said, let's just jump into these quarterfinals then.
Yeah, Miraculous Youngsters taking on Blank Esports. Let's talk about that one first. Jax, this was not a very close match. Let's be honest here. I mean, the scores look closer than it actually was. It's 2-1 Nepal, Miraculous Youngsters, 4-3 Horizon Lunar Colony, Miraculous Youngsters, Junkertown 3-1 Miraculous Youngsters, Hollywood 3-2 for Blank Esports, 2-1 Kings Row Miraculous Youngsters, taking this in 5 games in order to make their way through quarters.
Can't say I'm surprised, Leplos.
I'm not
just
surprised
being honest here. I look at how Blank fared in OPC, and their struggles there, and while I don't know how Ardiant matches up, I know I feel safe at saying Ardiant might not be better than Lunatic High and Kangdu Pantera. They might be on the same level.
Yeah.
And so when I use that as my gauge and I look at how MY played against Lunatic High, I say, Blank, you kind of got beat badly by Ardian. I don't really see how you can match up against MY.
I agree.
They didn't really match up against MY, and
I mean, the only good things coming out of Blank here, I'm looking, the MVP in their win was given to Trill, but honestly, when I was watching the game, the most progress that they seem to be making came after either Hulu landing some random great self-destructs, and sometimes IEU up going off, like happened a couple of times, but not enough there for Miraculous Youngsters. Next upper bracket here in the quarterfinals was Runaway versus MVP Space. Jax, I was a little surprised by this match. MVP Space putting a little bit of pressure on Runaway in this matchup.
I mean, Leplos, I kind of feel as if Runaway took their foot off the gas.
Absolutely.
We start out on Kings Row, 2-1 Runaway. Temple of Anubis, 2-0 Runaway. Oasis, 2-0 Runaway.
They were up
3-0. You know, I mean, that's match point, Leplos. At that point, if you're Runaway, I mean...
Statistics in most sports games is when you have a 3-0 and a best of 7, it's something ridiculous. I can't tell you exactly what the stat is per game, but I'd imagine it's the same here in Overwatch, which is probably below 20% chance of coming back from a 3-0.
Go Junkertown Lepelos, MVP Space takes a map back 3-2. You go Numbani, end up in a draw 3-3. I really don't like draws, but we're not going to go there. They go from there to Hollywood 4-3 MVP Space to make things a little interesting, and then back to 2CP. Hanamura or Runaway close it out with a 4-3 win.
Two things here, Jax. Runaway showing the fact that they have trouble closing things out. This is something we mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Second thing I wanted to mention, MVP Space Addo doing really good work for MVP Space on the Genji here. He did really good work as well during the group stages in order to get them here. A big part of the big reason. Hopefully he'll keep it up, and
I'm
MVP
looking
Space
forward to seeing what they do in Season 5.
Yeah, me too, of OGN. They definitely have potential. So they showed that last season too when they beat Takai to come out.
To be fair, MVP Space from the group stages of APAC, they finished top of their group.
Yeah.
3-0 with the 10-2 line, beating Flash Wolves Lepelos. So, MVP Space showing that they might not be able to hang with the, Runaway right now, but this performance to me is pretty. This is honestly, this is higher than I expected from them. To beat Flash Wolves, to take 2 maps off of Runaway here, a lot of teams would have crumbled after going 3 and getting beat 3-0, going down 3 maps to 0 here, like they did Lepelos without taking any of the objective points. I mean, okay, they took one on what was it, on King's Road, but still, a lot of teams would have just thrown in a towel there. They fought back. They even had a draw, so. MVP Space, a team to keep your eye out on, especially with the vacuum that is going to hit OGN Lepelos.
Yeah, that's definitely good for them. I like to see that.
Someone's got to feel it. Someone's got to feel it.
That's the kind of attitude I see in a team that's going up, one that doesn't give up even in a losing, like quote unquote losing battle. That's a hard mentality to have, but that's the type of mentality you want in a team. Jax, let's move to the lower bracket. GC Busan versus Flash Wolves. I think we're both disappointed here in Flash Wolves.
Have they been found out, Lepelos?
2-0 Nepal, GC Busan. 3-2 Gibraltar, GC Busan. Nibani 3-0 GC Busan. And 5-4 on Horizon Lunar Colony for GC Busan. 4-0 sweep. Flash Wolves looking a little dead in the water. Jax, definitely concerned for them.
Have they been found out? From OPC Season 1 to the World Cup qualifiers, Lepelos, where they failed to qualify. A bit of a let. I mean,
yeah.
Yes, UK came out of nowhere to just destroy in the Los Angeles bracket, but from there they go to OPC Season 2, Lepelos, they don't beat Ardian, and now you go to APAC, they lose to MVP Space in the group, and then first game of the playoffs, they lose in a sweep to GC Busan?
Yeah, so here, I got like 3 things for this one. First one, GC Busan, really good to close out.
3 days practice, Lepelos.
Yeah, 3 days practice, but they don't back off on their aggression here. That's important. Flash Wolves looking, I've said this before, but I want to say it again. Flash Wolves looking like they haven't improved mechanically at the same rate that everyone else has. And despite their teamwork, they can't make up for that. And third thing is, the only exception to the last point is Bacon Jack still looking really good at times here.
Bacon Jack has always been the highlight Lepelos, but as I've said previously, what do they do when Bacon Jack cannot do it himself?
They lose.
Your comment, which you repeatedly make, and it's valid here. They're not leveling up Lepelos. When you talk about teamwork, for me, you're not going to out teamwork the Apex champions. You're not. I don't care who it is, whether it's Lunatic High or C9 or C9 Kongdu or whatever they're called, C9 Kongdu, Spitfire. You're not going to do it. You can maybe match them, which I don't think they can, because the Koreans, I'm just being honest here, they prepare and their teamwork is phenomenal.
And speaking of that, Jack, so let's go ahead and talk about the next one, though.
We have to go ahead.
It's going to be basically as brief. It ties into what you're saying about the preparation of Korean teams. So I wanted to do this one really quickly. This is 1246 who were given this spot, taking on Africa Freaks, which we've always questioned about how they will play when they come up against difficult.
They don't play anybody.
They beat up on the easy teams. Jax, look at the score lines here: 2-1-0 Oasis, 1-0 Temple of Anubis, 1-0 Hollywood, 1-0 Junkertown for Africa Freaks. What is that scoreline, Jax? What is that scoreline?
I updated our Twitter today. Yes, very frequently used, but it was used today. Twitter's look at the at OW Rundown. You will find a link to a timestamp of this match, Lepelos. Temple of Anubis, 1246 on the attack. Clinical presentation of a team falling into the Widow's trap. 1246 Lepelos. who was it? Kaplan, Jason Kaplan. He was casting, and he's like, you gotta switch. Like,
Yeah.
at one point, Lepelos, the Widow died, gets revived, dies again. Valkyrie comes in to save the Widow, and dies again. Arhan Lepelos, looking like a world-class Genji when facing 1246. This is not the season 1 OPS champions that we saw fight LGD to a game 7. This was I'm sorry, this was sad. They had no business getting this invite to the playoffs, Lepelos. They should have had to fight their way in if this is what they were going to do. This was bad.
Yeah, definitely was disappointing to see them there. They didn't make it through. Jax, instead of going back to the upper bracket, let's talk about the lower bracket semifinals now. GC Busan, Africa Freaks,
playing someone.
both of them getting 4-0s in their quarterfinals.
That's what I'm okay.
And it sets up what we were just talking about. Africa Freaks, you now have a challenger again. You again have to prove yourself by taking on, this time, the previous grand champion of OGN. And Jax, we need to see something out of Africa Freaks here if they want to, like, at least here internally as a rundown, if they want to prove their name worth anything, which is, always being amongst, well, at least how we consider them in OGN.
They go on these win streaks, right?
Only so against easy teams.
In the group stage, Lepelos, they went 3-0, 12-0 map line. They come down in the quarterfinals. They beat 1246 4-0. So this is 16 straight maps, Lepelos, without a loss. Now they come and face the Apex champions. What happened here, Lepelos?
I mean,
they got crushed, dude. You didn't think about it.
Yeah. GC Busan, Africa Freaks, let me go down the scoreline.
Run it down.
2-1 Lijiang Tower, 3-2 Nabani, 1-0 Temple Anubis, 3-2 Route 66, all 4 in a row for the simple sweep for GC Busan here. Jax, gesture, I wanted to say, looking quite good in this matchup.
Absolutely crushed them. Africa Freaks, Lepelos, the team, I think I said after when they went out in the group stages of OGN Season 4, I said this team has got some work to do, Lepelos. Coming off the heels of this loss, Lepelos, they've got serious work to do. So we had Atune standing in for Recry. I'm now hearing that Atune is out, Lepelos. He's leaving. Who else? Someone else was also leaving.
Yeah, I can't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to look that one up.
But the biggest thing that they're losing, we talk about the preparation that Korean teams make, right?
Yeah.
Taerong has been the coach of AF Blue, or now just AF. Taerong, you know who he's the coach of now, Lepelos? The Houston Outlaws. They have now lost their coach.
It's troubling times for Africa Freaks. I mean, if someone's not there to coach them through the easy teams, what are they going to do when they meet up against the difficult teams?
Lepelos. But see, here's the thing, though. Who's left? I mean, all GC Busan, right? So, they can't be. GC Busan is gone.
Yeah,
they won't be there in Season 5 OGN Lepelos. They're now part of the London Spitfire team. So,
Africa Freaks has a chance to walk through to the end. I mean, if they can beat NC Foxes, I guess, Jax.
I don't think they can beat Runaway. I'm not sure they can beat Foxes, Lepelos. I would like to see them play MVP Space. I have doubts about that. This team.
They're not
implode this team and start over, Lepelos.
I mean, they didn't even win a game here against GC Busan.
Lepelos,
not a single.
You need to blow this team up and rebuild it if you want to keep going. I'm sorry.
They're just going to be a middling team.
I don't want to beat up on someone. I think Arhan has got to go. So even with his reduced role, right? Atune played okay, not great. Atune was fine. He was average. Same with Recry. Recry, I talked him up in Season 4, and then he let me down.
Yeah.
So much of this team revolves around Arhan, and I think you got to get rid of it to move
let's
forward.
Let's be honest here too. He tossed away some opportunities because he was so focused on one character or another, and he couldn't close out those kills. And then on the flip side, you had Profit going out on his Genji here at times and outplaying Arhan.
Who was it? Jason Kaplan again he had some really good insights this week in his casting. I really like Jason Kaplan. He at one point, I want to say it was on Anubis, he pointed out that Arhan looked like he was on tilt, or how he was playing. Arhan previously levels was all about winning that Genji 1v1.
As much as we joke about from that one interview,
right? And here Prophet was just just literally outplaying him on Genji. And this is what the second real time we're seeing Prophet face a top tier Genji. Hacksaw in the finals level, he's like, okay, I'll hang with you. Now world best Arhan is like, okay, I'll hang with you and play it better than you. And Arhan, maybe he needs to reinvent himself, or
yeah, there's something needs to happen with him right now. He doesn't seem to be on top of his game. Jax,
there's no swag there, Lepos. He's got no swag. I don't even know what swag means, but he's got no swag.
He's got no swag. Let's forward to the other semifinals here. Runaway versus Miraculous. Youngster Jackson. A little bit of a disappointment in this one, too.
This was a surprise and a disappointment. Yeah,
definitely. And the scorelines will sort of show this, too. Started out on Lijiang Tower 2-1 here. Miraculous Youngsters. This was actually a really good map, very close. I was expecting a lot from the series following this. Then we had an interesting Kings Row, Jax. Runaway 2-1 on this one. This is the one, I believe, where Miraculous Youngsters break out the Bastion, the solo Bastion, with a 3-1-2 setup, like 3-tank setup. And they, if I remember, or was it 3 support? I can't remember now. I think it might have been.
It doesn't matter because it didn't work. Just look at the score. Give him a rundown here, Leplos. The score says it all for this series.
It's 2-1. It's 2-1 here on Kings Row for Runaway. Miraculous Youngster, great first point attack, didn't make it further. Horizon Lunar Colony, they got 1-0'd. They got shut out on Lunar Colony. Route 66, 2-1 for Runaway there. And 2-1 on Nepal to close it out for Runaway for a 4-1 victory. This was not the same team
that played the previous week.
No, they
Seoul Super Cup levels.
They looked destroyed.
I don't know what happened here.
Jax,
I don't know what happened.
Maybe if we apply some of what we know about the Overwatch Shanghai Dragon team, maybe they found out that they weren't getting picked for that team. And
Leplos hometown favorites here. Are you kidding me?
This is
China.
Not a single Miraculous Youngster.
A major tournament, Leplos, international stage.
Yeah.
They played better in Korea than they did in their own country?
They did. Maybe this is why they weren't picked for that team, Jax. I don't know if that's the case or not.
I wish I had insights into the Chinese scene. I would love to know what the Chinese Reddit is saying about. They looked. I don't want to say bad, but I expected this. To be an opposite result here, Lepos. I said Miraculous Youngster could. At the start of this, could go up and beat Runway 4-0-4-1. I figured that was a possibility. That's how well they played against Lunatic High.
Well, Jax, I am looking at the broadcast talent up here on the Team Liquipedia page for this event, and I hopefully they should have some good insights. They have 3 times the amount of commentators compared to the U.S. American or English commentators. So, hopefully
contacts level up.
Apparently. If anybody knows about what's happening with the Miraculous Youngsters over the past week or two, have followed anything in an after-action report or whatever you want to call it, let us know. Definitely some interesting stuff.
The Reddit detectives have found that the MY players are rather young, Lepolo, so that's a good reason as to why they weren't picked up for Overwatch League slots. You have to be 18.
So bright future.
I forget what the cutoff is, but I think for me this is good for Chinese Overwatch. Except I say that, and then I look at Team Shanghai, and I'm saying, okay, they took some of the LGD, and so now who's MY going to play Levelos? They've already proven they can beat up on Vici, who was too inconsistent. You look at 1-2-4-6 here, absolute garbage. Yeah. I'm sorry, garbage. What's left for MY?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, this is part of the issue right now in terms of farming up new talent. It looks like it's going to be trouble in the future for Chinese
Can we get
teams.
MY invited to OGN, Lepelos, with Ardient coming back from OPC to go to OGN, and then we have a really good league there. But then, where does that leave OPS and OPC?
Maybe you have to combine all 3 leagues there.
Lepelos, let's get Flash Wolves and Blank. Okay, Flash Wolves, Blank, and MY. Give them invites to OGN Season 5.
With Ardian being there as well. Yeah,
Lepelos, that would be good.
That would be good.
MVP Space, we don't know what happened with Runaway. Lepelos, that could be... Listen, they need to hire me to run these tournaments.
There you go, Jax. I'll do the photoshopping, all right? Okay, let's talk about the finals, Jax. We did all this semifinals, but the real big story of APAC coming out is under a week or just about a week apart from one another, we have another rematch between Runaway and GC Busan here. Huge moment for Runaway to say, listen, what happened there was a mistake. What happened?
I said, can Runaway bounce back? Both teams are pretty fresh on this patch, Lepos. No one has a clear advantage because OGN is playing 2 or 3 patches behind this.
Yeah.
So
Runaway, hopefully trying to take that to their edge. They've been sort of a feisty group. Hopefully that would work in their balance. But Jax, let's go ahead and get into the actual map by map rundown. I think we probably have a little bit more notes on this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Starting on Lijiang Towers, Jax, Runaway looking good, bringing out that pharmacy to start things off, putting out 100-0 to get things started on Lijiang Gardens.
I do want to say props to Runaway for that 100-0 Leplos. Profit is insane. And I'm not saying anything new here. It was 25 seconds, maybe 24 seconds Leplos for him to build his first pulse bomb.
Yeah.
Put out so much. Yes, he was feeding on tanks, but the tanks allowed themselves to be fed upon like this. Profit built a just insanely fast pulse bomb. Now he whiffed on it, but the fact that he built it that quickly was impressive. Do want to point out Cox Lepelos playing Lucio for Runaway. This is the new patch, so we're seeing a lot of Mercy play from the Korean teams. We didn't see that very much Lepelos in OGN, or at least not as much because Mercy is not the way she is right now. So we had a Cox on a Lucio, and that left Bumper to play the Mercy.
Yeah.
Hacksaw was on the Pharah. You had Hurek playing the Pharah for GC Busan. So that's what I was interested in. I wanted to see how the teams incorporated Mercy into their play because they had very little time with it.
Yeah.
So coming out here on the Garden phase, Runaway looking very dominant levels. Look like they want to prove that they can win against this team and win a major.
Yeah, and I mean, good place to start for Pharmacy, way to get into the groove of things. But Night Market, Jack's different story. Couple of things I want to talk about here. First thing, Hacksaw and the Pharaoh doing work off the start. GC Busan, though, securing point back with a great Valkyrie coming out a closer and Hagapin getting a good transcendence there. Gesture there getting another 2 kills on the supports with the Primal Rage, extending the time there for GC Busan. Both important as that last fight, Jax, on Night Mark was absolutely crazy. It's back and forward. It's really high intensity. This is the same level that we saw at the OGN finals. This is exactly how you want the finals to play out.
Night Market Lepelos, the map there highlights why Tracer is broken. Jason Kaplan, at one point he's saying, how is Prophet still alive? Because it's Tracer. No other hero could be able to hold a point down like he did Lepelos. He did die finally, but his team had come off respawn and contributed to this insane fight that you're talking about. But he did so much work on Tracer. And not only that, Lepelos, Hureg on the Soldier getting extremely high value tactical visors. Extremely high value. Where on the flip side, Hacksaw, he started out on Pharah Lepelos. He did good on the first point. A Garden here. After they lost the point,
he was ineffective
first
from
fight,
that point
he
on.
immediately switched off Pharah because he couldn't get anything done with Hurek all up on him. His Genji was it was okay. The tactical visors gesture, his Winston Lepelos is very good. And had Jack not already bought the whole team, I think Profit would have been bought last week and someone would have picked up Gesture after some of the plays that he's been making in both these finals.
Speaking of that, Jax, let's just close this one off. Night Market 199, GC Busan winning that crazy last fight. Takes us to the third map, Control Center. What I want to say here, huge plays out of Gesture. You just mentioned his huge plays again coming through here. This time on Reinhardt, a couple of Earthshatters. One I want to talk about, second fight, Earthshatter self-destruct, 3 kills for Aerial off of it.
I want to talk about the setup to that. Before that, for Runaway, who capped the point first. Should point out Runaway running a 3-1-2 Junkrat, 3-1-2 McCree for GC Busan. Very different DPS right here at Lepelos. Hacksaw. Now you would think with the Junkrat, that means both teams are running Zarya. The Zarya for GC Busan would beat the Zarya for Runaway because Junkrat does nothing but feed you if you're Zarya. Now I want to point out Lepelos. We had Hacksaw on the Zarya for Runaway, Profit on the Zarya for GC Busan. We're seeing more of these DPS players flexing over into that. I mean, Zarya's a DPS. Let's be honest. There comes a time though where you do need them to not think like a DPS and more of a of an off tank that comes, with their projected barriers, how they use their gravitons. We'll get into that later. Hacksaw beat Prophet to graviton by 40%. That is huge, Leplos. Graviton wins. Graviton should win you a fight. Whatever fight in which you have grab and the other team doesn't, you should win, especially the grab where you cannot escape from it anymore. Here, Hacksaw Leplos very unsure as to when to use his graviton. Normally, we get on them for being too loose with it. Here, he was too conservative. He had the Mercy right there. He did not grab the Mercy. So you had Gesture go down in the fight, Leplos. Mercy comes in, revives him. Mercy escapes with like 2 bars of health. At that point, Gesture Leplos built 30% of his Earth Shatter in seconds. And by seconds, I mean it was 5 seconds or less. He was revived within 5 seconds. He had Earth Shatter Leplos, monster Earth Shatter that catches Hacksaw, which is the most important one. Hacksaw dies. The self-destruct comes in, 3K for Ariel, and at that point, Runaway lost all of their advantage.
Yeah, and GC Busan basically hold on there. He gets another one later on. Map Lijiang Tower goes GC Busan.
Jax. I mean, because see, the reason why I'm talking so much about this is people have to understand Zarya is so important here.
Yeah.
This was Runaway's map to win. This was when he had that a 40% difference because he can use his Graviton Leplos, and because then he'll then be building up to his next one before Prophet is even there.
Yeah.
Here, Prophet catches up to him. They both come out in the very next fight. Leplos, when he does use the Graviton, they lose the fight. They get nothing off of Hacksaw's Graviton at that point. All advantage is gone. Gesture further on in the round, Leplos, another monster Earth Shatter.
Yeah, it's huge.
Prophet Graviton comes out, crushes Runaway.
It's bad, Jax. Let's move on to King's Row, though.
They never
got back from that one, and that's exactly it's knock-on effects of ultimate usage, particularly the
Graviton surge. We talked about it for 60 episodes now. How important it is, especially on.
It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away.
You literally lose the
Jax,
first map.
Let's go on to King's Row and talk about what happened on this one, though, because some more interesting things happened here. This was only map 1. Already took about 10 minutes just to discuss that. Let's try to
close it out.
Shorten this one up. King's Row is talking about trying to shorten things up. How do you feel about the start coming out of GC Busan here? Bastion for GC Busan in a 3-1-2 form here against Runaway breaking out a 2-2-2 with a Torb Junk composition.
Was this
King's Row?
Okay, wait a minute. Was this a 2-3-2 or... This was a 2-3-1, right? That's what you said?
It's 2-2-2 for Runaway, 3-1-2 for GC Busan.
Why are my notes wrong? It doesn't matter why my notes are wrong. But this shouldn't come as a surprise. Who is it? Blank likes to run a Bastion on King's Row attack a lot of times. Now they're not playing Blank here, but you obviously you look at film for everything, right? So teams do run a Bastion here on attack. So Runaway, I won't say they should have expected it. It shouldn't have been too great of a surprise for them.
Yeah, but they look like they had nothing going here. Let me put it this way, Jax. The only major stop that Runaway were able to do came off of January landing a huge 3-kill self-destruct in the 3rd phase.
It was random, Leplos. It was random.
But that is basically the only hold-up that GC Busan had. They pushed through with 3:12 on the clock. That's excellent time for sure.
I do want to say Kaiser came in here, Leplos. I was a little bit concerned because they had him on the Orisa for their first point defense. He does switch to Reinhardt later on, but that puts him behind Gesture in the Earthshatter fight. In the streets, Gesture yet again, Leplos, monster Earthshatter. Yeah. The guy is hitting Earthshatters like he's Kaiser in season 2 of OGN, where Runaway made that great push into the finals here, Leplos.
But unfortunately,
it was just defense just wasn't here.
Yeah. Speaking of defense, though, let's go flip it on the other side. Runaway on attack here. Cox looking good. Jax, I'm just going to say this in general. Cox having a great game, although a little inconsistent.
He did have one poor ultimate with Transcendence,
which
around 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on their first attack. But outside of that, Leplos, he was quickly building up his Transcendence.
Yeah, I mean to say his accuracy was really high on his Zen for sure.
His DPS Zen is maybe not approaching, is world class.
Definitely was
Showing
doing
me
that.
he's reminding me a lot of Boombox from season 0 and from the World Cup qualifiers for UK, and of Unko, who I highly rate as a DPS Zen. Cox is pretty good.
Runaway here though off the start, and despite the early 2-kill, Runaway unable to capitalize on that. GC Busan answering it well. Bumper getting caught on his mercy at least a couple times here. Aerial 2-kill self-destructs on A point. Hacksaw getting a graviton surge. This is all A point, Jax.
I know. I have it in my notes. 1 minute 30 seconds left. Hacksaw gets his graviton eaten. Again, DPS on Zarya. Previously, we skipped over it, but I do want to say Prophet had the same thing happen to him on Li Zhang on the control center. It's again, you put these players, these DPS players on Zarya, they don't have the decision making levels. Here, they were very fortunate that Gesture missed his shatter. Like if Gesture hits his Earth Shatter here, they're done.
Yeah, this could have been a shutout here.
So they were able to cap it out.
They were able to snowball through that second phase pretty well into the third phase, where there was actually a mistake on the side of GC Busan, a bad graviton surge, I think it was, Jax.
I mean, it was a questionable grab from Prophet, but it would have been fine if Janu doesn't hit again the random 3K stuff. The caster's like, where did this come from?
Yeah, that's how they feel.
Jamerson is like, what? Where did this happen? Or how did this happen? Because it makes... How does he get that? How does he keep getting these random...
two maps in a row.
Getting it. It's not random, them levels.
He had 2 3-kill self-destructs here on 2 rounds.
You can't tell me. No way he planned that, Leplos.
I mean, he knew where it was landing, but it's always a hope and a prayer that you just catch somebody at the right time. Like, you have the knowledge about where they are. You just can't guarantee it's going to be the right time. Jax, that allows Runaway to push through in OT, but let's put this simple. They have no time to clock. GC Busan gets 3 minutes 12 to attack A point to get a third.
Did they even need that much time left?
Kureg landing a shot on Bumper, the Mercy. Their Widowmaker landing a shot on the Mercy to start things off there for GC Busan. That map's done.
Lepos, when you get the Mercy first, there's no undoing that first pick. We've always talked about how important the first pick is for Overwatch. This highlighted it. Once he was dead, Runaway was done. 2-0 Leplos.
We're on to Anubis. Anubis, well, Anubis is Anubis. Do we really need to say much more? I think we can go on. No, okay, let's go through this one a little bit. Runaway do take a quick A point on their attack here. Hacksaw getting 3-kill. Dragon Blade sets up for a tick with no mercies on either side, by the way, at that point, Jax. And another good entrance secures a second tick a little bit later. But Runaway not closing out again, Jax. This is the thing. They had these opportunities. You need to close out.
So it was very unfortunate for them that Bumper died in their very first push. Hacksaw got the 3K Dragon Blade, as you said. But with Bumper dead, they lost their AoE heals. They couldn't get the health pack because Hagelpin had switched off to the Sombra to deny them that Lepelos. And I have here in my notes, typical 2CP shenanigans. It's so I don't like 2CP, dude. It's so hit or miss, but you are correct though. Winners will find a way to close it out, Lepelos. They did. They started with 7 minutes, they ended with 45 seconds.
Yeah, and let's go talk about winners taking it and closing it out, Jax. GC Busan quick A. Very good there. GC Busan second attack, great work. Take it eventually with 5:02 on the clock. Hureg, was it Hureg? I can't remember who came out on the Doomfist.
Yeah, it was Prophet the Genji.
Yeah.
You say Doomfist not viable. That's what people say.
Doomfist is viable in a scattered battle. I think he
thrives.
Did you see him
get Cox? Jason Kaplan, by the way, fantastic awareness. I'm serious now. He was like, Cox cannot. Cox was there on the Sombra in the little cut behind the point. Doomfist spots him. He's like, you can't die. He dies. Lepelos, no Sombra. They were done.
Yeah,
I mean, Doomfist is viable.
Yeah. So second attacks, Jax, Runaway, not a lot of time. They managed to get A point fine, but nothing on B points. Then you have GC Busan second attack with plenty of time. Runaway trying the Orisa Widow Torb strat here. A 2-3-1 strat on first defense. They do find a good A hold for a bit, but not long enough. GC Busan still has enough time for that B attack to save up some ultimates, and that's all they need. They just need a tick. They save up some ultimates, as we talk about. Save up those ultimates, use them in an ult soup, and then you win. GC Busan doing just that.
I hope Jack is giving Prophet the 150k treatment like Sinatra. I just want to go right back to Runaway's second attack on the B point Lepelos. Prophet 3k Dragon Blade. Do you know what he got with that 3k? He killed Cox on the Zen. Down, Bumper revives Cox. Then Bumper dies. And then he kills Cox again, Lepelos. He did nothing but kill supports. Zen with one Dragon Blade. Fantastic. Fantastic awareness and focus. So many Genjis, Lepelos. They're dashing here, they're dashing there, they're dashing everywhere. He's like, I'm keeping your supports there. With no supports, you cannot sustain a B point Anubis assault, Lepelos. Fantastic play out of Prophet here. He's playing the Genji. Again, we need to see more Genji play before we can put him, before we can properly class him or, where to place him in the Genji hierarchy. But I'm not seeing the drop off here. He's producing on this hero, Lepelos. He's not just a tracer one trick. He's getting things done. Give the man 150k. That's all I'm saying.
He's definitely at the top of this game right now.
3-0 GC
3-0. Yeah, and we talked about previously about how unlikely it is to come back from 3-0 here. So Runaway taking it to Route 66, hoping for a miracle. And Jax, I do have to say,
Lepelos.
Cox coming through here.
Those
huge.
right clicks, Lepelos. Is Zen overpowered?
Shutting down right off the start for Cox. I mean, it's a very, very strong ability.
Sure. So just a quick tangent from here, quick. Anna's getting a slight buff. The damage on the rifle is going from 60 to 70. Ryu Jae-hung he was at his hotel for BlizzCon. Someone asked him about it. He says, it's nice and all, but Zen Discord is too good. You still play Zen most of the time. Is Zen overpowered, Lepelos?
Listen, it is an extremely strong thing to be able to peek one-shot people.
Delete these players.
And you can do it. It's honestly a little bit easier to do than getting a shot with Widow around a corner. So I'm not ready to say it's overpowered because it's still difficult to do, and proper shielding will basically negate your ability to do that, which we haven't had proper shielding because everyone plays dive, and as soon as you play dive, the counter to Zen is right there, which is you get on top of him, Zen is dead.
Lepelos, he deleted the ZP. Hureg died twice to Cox's Zen here, man.
You don't have a shield. This will happen.
Lepelos, he then killed Prophet.
No, it was very good play.
DPS.
We're going to keep on going through, Jax, because
push it through, Lepelos. Push it through. Push the payload.
Well, let's talk about Cox again because it's a questionable play from here. Him late in this first phase here where he uses a late transcendence.
If this is his biggest weakness, Lepelos, is ult management or
awareness about
I don't know who's calling it, but his ultimates in both finals, Apex and now APAC, not the greatest. Something he does need to work on because transcendence is a very important ultimate to have. Yes, he can build it quickly, but you still have to build it. Thankfully, Lepelos, they were able to make it through.
Well, I mean, this is GC Busan's attack here. Hooray!
Oh, GC Busan's attack. Well,
yeah, they were quick through second. Momentum carried them through an extended fight with 2 Graviton surges there for GC Busan to push through all their distance. Cox, though, again, you might be confused because on Runaway attack, outstanding again for Runaway, starting things off for them. Hacksaw Dragonblade to secure first checkpoint. Runaway do manage to push through to the end with a minute 53 on the clock, giving them a pretty good.
Coming up big, Lepelos on the McCree. Big time Deadeye. I can't believe I said it because you don't really get many big time Deadeyes.
Bumper.
AKM's Deadeyes, man. AKM used to get the flanking Deadeyes. Massive 3 and 4K Deadeyes. I don't know how he did it. AKM in Overwatch League, Lepelos? No, he's not there.
He's not there. But I did want to say here, Bumper also another good Valkyrie here to turn the last fight there to secure that third checkpoint, that C checkpoint for Runaway. GC Busan second attack. Janu getting demeched early, but that's okay. Stitch huge kill on McCree upon return for the hold here in the first phase, I believe it was.
I'm not concerned with Janu losing his mech like that to Poke, Lepelos. I mean, Poke should not be that effective. I mean, it could be effective, but for you to lose your mech to Poke, that's bad play.
Yeah. Let's talk about some more good play out of Cox, though. Runaway on their attack. 2 kills, Cox coming out off the start here to gain that distance. Runaway alts coming through here as well in that first phase in order to secure them the distance that they needed here pretty soundly. able to get that first win back, Jax, pushing it to
Leplo's
map
Stitch
5.
with the Deadeye. He got a pick, but he also zoned GC Busan into a kill box. I also want to point out, as the casters did, Stitch went with the flanking McCree. Leplos, sometimes flanking McCree can get you in trouble. He was waiting. He was camping his corners. Prophet had the tactical visor. He came off the spawn with tactical visor thinking, I'm going to be hero Leplos. He got killed. No tactical visor at that point. That means GC Busan didn't have the tools that they needed to sustain and run away saying, we're not done yet.
Yeah, it's definitely good stuff out of Runaway to try and come back. I just mentioned in a previous matchup between who was it, MVP Space and Runaway, the importance of having that mentality. Runaway clearly having at least a little bit of that mentality. Jax, let's go and discuss the 5th map, Nepal. Nepal starting off on Village.
Oh boy.
And
see,
I sort of want to go through this one quickly because
yeah.
Let's go through this one quickly. GC Busan starting things off well here. Runaway able to take point back, but not for too much longer. Or GC Busan able to get that overtime turn of a fight and holding on from there with Jester doing really good work for a 199 win on Village here.
There's so many things. I have so many notes here. One, Cox playing again very well. His damage is fantastic. Hacksaw started on Ferris, which the Genji Leplos really. I don't want to keep using the word fantastic, but his Genji play with 3 to 4 kills to get them their flip at 45% was amazing. GC Busan in overtime is where things got interesting. Cox dead. With 94% on his Transcendence. Bumper revives him. Cox immediately builds Trans and then uses it. Only problem is Bumper is dead, so your Mercy is gone. Stitch is dead. Your Tracer is gone. At that point is when Cox decides to use Transcendence Leplos. I don't like it. One, you're in overtime, so there's nothing more for you to gain. The only thing you gain is by winning the fight. You're not going to win that fight with your Mercy and your Tracer dead. That's main heals and primary, not say primary damage, but a big source of damage gone. And for me, it's going back to Cox and his decisions on when he uses Transcendence. I get it. You're in the moment. You're feeling it. You're thinking, we're going to hold on here. I just didn't like it. At that point, the Transcendence goes down Leplos. He immediately dies. Tizzy is dead. They have nothing. I mean, you use the revive to get him up. Okay, that's fine. But
is that worth
you're
the
at
trade
99
there?
and GC Busan still has some ways to go. Save your Transcendence for the next fight, for the push back in. There's at least 1, if not 2 more fights. He just blew it. They had nothing Leplos. First point, GC Busan. Match point now.
Match point and map point as well. Both of them all at once here on Sanctum. Jax Runaway do get the point early here, but with Hacksaw not getting value off of Dragon Blade allows GC Busan to take back the retake of that point really quickly. But some back and forth here. I did want to say Prophet on Junkrat here.
Junkrat check not met.
2 things here in one fight. He manages to get a pick on Bumper and a 1 kill on the Riptire as well to start a fight for GC Busan to allow them to take it back from there and hold on for 100 to about a 90. I think that was the scoreline here on Sanctum for the victory for GC Busan. They managed to take the map, the series,
Junkrat
and
check.
APAC 2017.
Runaway does not meet the Junkrat check here. Prophet showing he's flexing now onto, the Junkrat here. Fantastic work out of him. Gesture, again, DAC, C9, London Spitfire, whatever you're calling yourself. Pay this man some money. I liked his Roadhog play, Lepelos. Very solid. Roadhog to me is right now. Roadhog is very risky. He does have his moments like here. They made it work. Hureg solid on the soldier. Nothing flashy, nothing great. He just did his job. And the biggest thing, and it's what people have focused on in some of the post-game reports that I've read and what the casters talk about here, Lepelos, the difference between Closer and Bumper. Bumper, Lepelos, is probably still respawning on Mercy somewhere between Shanghai and Seoul. Got murdered so much, Lepelos. Bumper was always dying. Closer was always fine. I mean, then again, you might say he's not getting the protection he needs. You might say that Runaway's DPS weren't focusing Closer as hard as GC Busan's were focusing Bumper. One of the biggest differences for me, though, was that Mercy support. And with Mercy being so dominant in the meta right now, Lepelos, over 100% pick rate, whoever has the better Mercy, whoever gets the most value off of the revives, off of the Valkyrie revives, Leplos, you're going to win. And they did here. Fantastic work by GC Busan.
Yeah.
3 days practice, Leplos. 3 days practice on this patch, and now they're the winner of another major.
This one, I mean, Jax, it definitely shows that they're a top team right now. Like, Runaway having some good moments in here. Their consistency wasn't there. Their lack of closing not there. GC Busan, on the other hand, showing the fact that they have that killer instinct and coming out here and winning this one even more resoundingly than they won the OGN.
It just, I mean, Kaiser was okay, Lepelos, but he was outplayed by Gesture.
Yeah,
that's
just for sure.
Fact. Stitch was outplayed by Hureg. I mean, I'm making direct comparisons. It's just at almost position for position,
except for Cox. Yeah, except for Cox had ultimate value issues.
But Cox's ultimates were not that great.
Exactly. The inconsistency across Runaway's lineup, like Janu, another example. Some amazing self-destruct, some really good plays. Other times,
it's random though. You can't count on it, Lepelos.
Yeah.
It's just for me. I almost player for player, position for position. GC Busan was better. And I'll say it again. The biggest thing for me, Closer looked comfortable on Mercy. Bumper did not. And I'm sorry, that's one of the things coming into the World Cup, Lepelos. That's why we're gonna get into the World Cup preview. I don't want to get into it now, but keep an eye on the Mercy play. At this weekend, Overwatch World Cup, keep an eye on the Mercies because it's so important. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's so important.
In this current match, until they've changed it, which I hope they do soon. But anyways, we know some things coming down the line, or some things have made it to PTR, which usually means it's coming direct without any changes to the Mercy. But anyways,
Ariel had some good plays as well. Sorry,
Ariel definitely did have some good plays.
I feel like we're just throwing things in, but
I feel like Janu
I
Ariel
struggled trying to fit all my notes in here. Ariel played solid. Like his tank play, his off tank play was fine, but Gesture to me, if it wasn't for Closer playing so well on Mercy and Prophet, DPS always shines, but Gesture Lepelos, I am really impressed by this man. On Winston and Reinhardt, I really want to see him throw down with some of the Rhines in the West. I want to see what he does against Coco. I want to see, from Dallas Fuel. I want to see what he does against XQC on the Winston play. I want to see how he matches up. I'm really, really impressed by Gesture. Yeah. Really impressed by what he's doing.
It's good to see. So there you have it. That's APAC, Jax. That's the major coverage of this week, but we do have some other things to run down. I'm going here from your schedule. So the next thing we're going to talk about, another Chinese tournament going on, Overwatch Team Story Chapter 3. They're in the playoffs. We reported on 2 games last week, Moss 7 versus Team Laffy 3-0 there for Moss 7 Club. And then Lao Yen B, I believe, was the other one that we talked about last week, which was a 3 over Light Gaming. This week we have another 2 games, I think, that we didn't get to cover. Which both happened last week as well, but just after our coverage. So JD Gaming 3-1 over ADG, 3-0 P90 over Rush B Gaming there. So we have our semifinals set up there for Overwatch Team Story Chapter 3.
We'll probably be able to give this some proper coverage for the finals on November 15th. They're taking time off as BlizzCon. They don't want to, compete against it. The reason why I'm interested in this is the winner gets automatic direct entry into, I want to say, the next OPS, spring OPS, and then I think the people here, everybody in the semifinals level, I think they go into the second and third, they go for qualifiers, I believe, but the winner gets a direct invite. So second, third, and fourth go in for qualifiers. The winner gets a direct invite. So I'm looking at this because these are the up-and-coming Chinese teams.
Yeah. So basically, is it like similar to contenders, or is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like
pre-contenders,
contender
qualifiers, or whatever you want to call it.
So basically, these 4 teams in the semifinals are Tier 2 China, Lepelos, trying to make it into Tier 1 OPS. I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm looking forward to the finals.
That sounds good, Jax. Let's go ahead and move over to Overwatch Campeonato Brasileiro. Jax, this week we have a non-2-0 game.
I don't believe you.
Surprising, I know, right? In fact, you might wonder how Uprising could tie a game. Okay, let's be serious here. Uprising Esports, not Uprising Boston Uprising. Let's not confuse the two. But Uprising Esports here
This is
dropping a
bad.
map is pretty huge here, considering they're in third place here, and
Um,
they managed to drop a map for the tie against Dogma Esports this week.
Yeah, should point out that previously this is week 9. In week 3, Uprising was involved in the only other draw. You either have a 1-1 draw or you have a 2-0 win, because this tournament needs all kinds of help levels. How are you going to finish a series on a 1-1 draw? Are you kidding me? We're not going to go there.
What happens if you
Uprising
draw a
levels,
map? That's what I want to know.
This is Overwatch Campeonato Brasileiro. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of regular play before we get to the playoffs. I'll be back next week. Well, Levels will be back next week with more follow-up.
Yeah.
This tournament needs work.
And Jax, I also want you to we'll have to pay attention, but it looks like Team 6 might be forfeiting games too from now on. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. Listen, okay. I just looked on because Brazil Gaming House, of course, they 2-0'd, but I'm looking at it. It said game forfeited by 6 Esports. We'll have to.
Okay.
We'll have to keep our eye out to see if there's any news about that. Let's go ahead and move to another South American tournament going on, which is Argentinian Gameshow 2017. I don't think there's any surprise here from the winners. Let's just go through the semifinals here. Karma 2-0 over 7T, and then CG or Centaurus. Let me get the names in full. Karma versus Tech Titans 2-0 Karma. Centaurus Gaming 2-0 over Virtus Legion.
Is that Virtus Legion? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Virtus Legion or sorry,
Virtus
right.
Legion.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And then Centaurus Gaming actually able to take a map off of Karma, but Karma.
I wish I
3-1
had. There's no VODs of this. I want. So with this scoreline 3-1, the only surprise I have is that they dropped the map, and so the only thing I would have watched here was the map that they lost. I want to see how they lost this map.
Exactly.
But there's no VOD of it.
Not too big of a surprise over the win, but you got to be concerned if you're one of the up and coming teams, like team that beat the former powerhouse in the south of Brazil Gaming House. You don't want to be dropping maps even against some of these other teams. So maybe something to keep your eye on for Centaurus Gaming. That means we're going to be moving over, Jax. We have Surge 2017 linked here. Looks like another Korean tournament that is going on. Short playoffs going again from the semifinals just here, Jax. Element Mystic 2-0 over Soulmate. Showmanship 7 2-0 over Challenge Watch. Element Mystic, though, taking the finals 3-0 over Showmanship 7.
Yep. I think this one, because it's a tournament and we just want to give it a little coverage here. But Element Mystic, we talk about up-and-coming teams in China, right? Here have Element Mystic Lepelos. They finished in first place of the APAC Season 5 qualifiers, so they'll be in APAC Season 5, showing that they won the qualifier. They come into this small tournament, but still, money is money, and they took it here rather, dominant fashion. So I'm looking forward, because the reason why I'm looking forward to it, the previous challenge winners, Lepelos, GC Busan came out of challengers.
Yeah.
And now GC Busan went from challengers to winning Season 4 Apex to winning APAC 2017 to now going into the Overwatch League.
Jackson.
So I'm wondering, is Element Mystic going to be next? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing.
But I mean, you got to be concerned though. I want to go highlight their quarterfinal match against Bond Spirit Gaming. They dropped the map here. Not only that, according to this, Jax, they dropped Nimbani with a 1-0 scoreline.
I wish I might need to go. I smell a Torbjorn somewhere here. I'd have to go back and watch this, but
I think Junkertown.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Junkertown, they had a 3-0 on to come back from that, so no big surprises there. Jax, I think we're going to talk about the Asus Republic of Gamers 2017 tournament GameXpo playoffs. I don't think there's anything played, but it's coming up very shortly.
I believe it or not, they play this. There's unlike the the Team Story, the China tournament, this one is still going ahead this weekend, Lepos. These teams will play this weekend. In fact, in 1 day, 15 hours, Gigante plays their semifinal. Gigante's gonna win. I said.
Yeah.
And Lepos, this will be the last sighting we have the current Gigante, Linkser, the Catalyst. The guy, we labeled him the Catalyst. That's gonna be his name going forward. Linkser is out here, Lepos. He's leaving Gigante. He's going down to Houston with the Houston Outlaws.
He's probably already there, so he may not even participate in this. So who knows?
Really, that's a good point
Yeah,
there,
I mean, if
Levels.
I
I
was
mean,
Houston, I'd be like, you're getting over here now. I know you have your team, so we'll see. We'll see what happens to Team Gigante. I imagine they'll still do well. The other semifinals, though, Helsinki Reds versus ENC Esports. I think
that should
that's
be
going to be a
competitive.
competitive
That
one.
should be
Yeah.
competitive. Yeah.
So that'll be the interesting one to watch of the semifinals, and see if they can do anything against the subbed in Gigante. I imagine Linkser's not going to be there for the grand finals. Okay, Jax,
Would you really leave your team hanging like that, Lepelos?
you're
You play
getting.
with them all the way to the playoffs, and then like, I got this paycheck. I'm out. Y'all have a good time.
It's
That's kind
probably
of
not your
cool.
choice. You're hired on, and they probably want you there
He would let
practicing.
him finish his previous
I wouldn't.
commitments, Lepelos.
If I was, listen,
If Freddie's gonna get injured, like I
no,
remix, break
Jax,
a toe, and can't play.
Jax, you need Photoshop work, so you need all hands on deck. But, no, all jokes aside, honestly, every moment matters right now. You got to. These teams have Overwatch League teams. If
They're
I
all
had
at
them,
BlizzCon levels. I guarantee you, these guys will, unless they're playing, they're all at BlizzCon party.
probably. I'm just trying to tell you though. That's exactly why the professional scene in Overwatch or in the West is not the same as maybe some others, because it lacks that polish. Anyways, let's go ahead and move down to to Australia, where we had the bi-monthly Brawl Season 1, Division 1, regular season
Weekly
going
update.
on.
Yeah.
We had a couple of interesting games I think we wanted to keep our eye out for this week. Like one.
I do want to point out, Lepelos, in case you're not aware, Four Legs has been acquired by King's Gaming Club. So where you see King's Gaming Club in the standings, that is Four Legs.
Yeah. So let's see. Man, Jax, with all these teams that have, with Sin and Project being out, that's like
Greatly diminished this tournament.
greatly diminished this tournament. It's sad to see. As a result, the most interesting game this week was probably between Masterminds Blue and Atletico, with Masterminds Blue coming out top of that one in order to secure themselves on map score third place over Atletico. Same 4-4 scoreline as Atletico, Scylla Esports, and Masterminds GC. But
these are the up and comers. So like I look at this, at King's Gaming Club currently dominating 8-0 with a 14-2 map line, and I'm gonna watch this in the playoffs here, because from here their next step is OPC levels if they can secure an invite. And can they reach a level like Blank dominated this region before they left when they were Fusion Girls, and then when they were Blank? Can they now level themselves up to compete at OPC? I'm not saying you have to win. I'm saying compete. Like, can you go in there and fight with an AHQ or an HKA, right? Other Southeast Asian teams.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm looking for from the winner of this event here.
Jax, that really wraps up the majority of our content, but we will mention a couple of other things here. I think we're going to go through some of the open divisions that are going on very briefly. We're just going to mention that they are going on.
There's no coverage, Lepolo.
There's no coverage here. We're just going to mention here that Toronto Esports in the North American one getting the 4-0 over Rocket Esports in the grand finals.
There was a bootleg. I won't say bootleg. There was a VOD of this where someone recorded. I have to find it. The only reason why I'm interested in this is Rocket Esports had been the #1 tier 2 team. Like in all the tier 2 events like Academy Gaming and things like that, Rocket Esports had been playing very well. For them to get beat like this, Lepos, and not just here in the semifinals, that 3-0 loss to, what is that, 6 Arenas? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
To lose 3-0 there, and then to lose 4-0 in the finals. Yes, they did come back in 3-0 6 Arenas in the lower bracket finals to even it out.
Let me just go through since you don't know them, 6 Arenas, a couple names you might recognize: Blam, iShiny, Spirit. All on there. Also has Dahun, Shane, and Sam listed. I don't know.
Okay, now you've piqued my interest.
Yeah,
now,
I thought you might want to be aware
was
of that.
Shane not the guy who subbed for Envision?
He was
at APAC.
Yeah, so like you look at this 6 Arenas team.
Up and comers here, Leplos. Keep an eye out on this team then.
Yeah, definitely coming together.
Oh, did you look at Toronto Esports, Leplos? They got Panker there?
Yeah, I was going to say
That's
some changes over there too. Toronto Esports definitely an interesting team. I don't know how that works.
Contender Season 2 teams. Leplos, take a look at Rocket Esports. You see Dummy?
I do see Dummy there. John as well. definitely good pickups on that one. I don't care in Prague. I've seen those names as well.
Oh, you must Hui playing for the Savage. Lepelos. I'm looking at Six Arenas, Toronto Esports, and Rocket Esports. I think these teams keeping out. Basically, what I'm saying, keeping out for them in Contender Season 2 if they can secure a spot.
Yeah, definitely some interesting stuff happening there.
I'm this Six Arenas team. I'm very interested in. Why is this not streamed? But I'm not going to go there. Let's take us to the next region.
Next region, European region. Again, we're just going to go to. Wow. Okay, there's like tiebreaker stuff going on to do that. We're gonna ignore all that. Go directly to the playoffs. Jax, there's a couple of teams here that we've seen before. I'm gonna mention a couple of them because they go out early. eSuba going out to looking for Team Owl or LFT Owl. Hilarious name. I guess you gotta have your meme and shit.
If you take a look at looking for Team Owl, Evoke, Dante, Vainless, Matt H. We've seen these people, Lepelos. We've seen them before. No surprise.
The other team that went out that we've seen before, Wizards Esports Club, going out to Copenhagen Flames, also in the quarterfinals. I just mentioned because
Lepelos, take a look at Copenhagen Flames. Look at number 1 on that list, Zapri. We know Zapri. If you take a look at M. Kurz, Lepelos, what do you see there? I see Rib. I see Zhao. You remember Zhao when Zhao tried out for Complexity and we felt like he was their best player and then they didn't sign him or Complexity? What happened to TJO, brother? Sorry, I'm just on a tangent right now.
Yeah.
Think about all these names are just coming up back to the Lepelos.
So it ends up being the grand final, though. We'll just skip ahead directly to that. Looking for Team Owl and Golden Sausage facing off there. 4-1 for LFTL. Taking over Golden Sausage. Who's on Golden Sausage? Anyone we know?
Watt 7?
Yeah. There we go.
In Lair, I recognize the name.
Lair, yeah.
I mean,
no one else. Is he maybe? I don't know.
These are interesting. These are interesting teams.
Up and coming. Like opportunity or potential is what you make of it. So, definitely some potential there.
I'm very curious to see.
That's
I'm looking forward to Contenders EU Season 2 because. Again, Misfits gone, Lepelos, EU United, well, not the United was a powerhouse, but there's a vacuum here now. Gigante will be gone. So basically the 1 and 2 team from EU, Lepelos, they're gone now, or they're going to have to rebuild when it comes to Gigante, if they decide to rebuild.
I'm looking over here at the Eastern. I'm going to look over at the Eastern Europe Open Division.
Wait, there's East and Western Europe?
Yeah, that was Western Europe. Let's talk about Eastern Europe. I don't recognize the names from this one. Team Vitilt or Vitilt, or I don't know how you want to pronounce this one.
You have to handle these pronunciations.
No, I have no idea.
I don't do that.
It's 4-0 over Swankston.
Oh boy.
Or
I am very ignorant when it comes to
Swagshin. I think they're trying to say Bastion, but with Swagshin. Okay, anyway, so 4-0 there for Vitilt.
Okay, I'm putting the call out now. I need a Chinese contact. I now need an Eastern European contact. I don't know these players on these teams.
Let's go over to Japan.
A lot of Russians, though. Let me just put that out.
Yeah, well, I mean, Eastern European.
Wow. A lot of Russians here, dude.
Over in Japan, Jack, a couple of names that we know facing off against. Okay, first one that I want to mention in quarterfinals, Dead Nation Gaming, Jacks losing 3-0 to Scars. So, unfortunately, continuing to struggle. Semifinals, the one I want to mention, Cyclops Athlete Gaming 3-1 over Greenleaves. We've seen Greenleaves. And Cyclops going on to win the 4-0 over Rascal.
Are they ready
Jester,
to level
Maverick.
up, Lepelos? Is Cyclops ready to make a move in OPC? Like the Japanese teams, Lepelos, they've made no progress. Speaking of progress, Lepelos,
maybe
I want you to go look at the group stage, okay? Look at the bottom of the group stage, Lepelos.
His sister, oh my goodness, and Dead Nation barely making it through. That goes to show you. I do think Cyclops probably has opportunity to compete, not at necessarily the Ardent level.
Lepelos, Sun Sister 0-15, dude.
I mean, they've
Lepelos,
been hollowed out. Let's be honest.
What has happened, Lepelos?
What has happened? They've never been good.
They were at least good enough to qualify for OPC 1, and did it. And
that was like half a year ago.
Lepelos, they're at the bottom of Japan. That is awful. That's awful, dude.
That is awful. Jax, let's go ahead and talk about Overwatch Division, Open Division Taiwan for Season 2. I'm going to jump right to the finals where it is team something bang something something something.
Lepelos. What kind of pronunciation is that?
I can't even understand those characters, so I
This
don't
is
know.
Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so here we have this Bang team winning over Reunion 4-1.
This Bang team. People, please send all your complaints about how Lepelos is presenting these Asian teams.
I don't know how to
Bang
pronounce
team,
that
this is what he
Taiwanese,
says.
those
Okay,
Taiwanese
this
characters. I honestly
Bang
don't even
team.
know. Do you what would you say this team is, Jax? Correct
I
me
don't
with what you're gonna
instead
instead of
off to our linguist who is in fact in chat getting ready to go to BlizzCon. I will link this to him and hopefully he will get back to us before the end of the show. Yes, our resident linguist here, Tosilog, he'll get back to us on what that translates to. But congrats to this Bang team, Lepelos. Wow, they actually have a Kappa Pride. I just noticed this. And look at the logo for this team. Kappa Pride. Fantastic. Fantastic. Wait, are these guys all from the same country?
The Bang team does?
No, Kappa Pride.
Oh, Kappa Pride. No, that
is... Kappa Pride finished 3rd to 4th.
They're the only team on here with a logo, so congrats to them for they win the Photoshop award, Jax.
Lepelos, it's all about branding.
It is
marketing.
I know.
That's what these Overwatch League teams need to learn.
And speaking of the open divisions, Jax, pretty similar to what we're seeing with the bi-monthly Brawl. A lot of the same teams here. We're not entirely done this one.
Oh wait, actually, hold on. We are done. You keep talking while I give you a link, Lepelos.
Okay.
I am going to be pasting it into our schedule.
But we're seeing basically the same teams here. You know, we're seeing King's Gaming Club, formerly Four Legs, who have been doing very well. We're seeing Darksided, who we're second right now, also competing. Scylla Esports, Athletico, Masterminds Blue coming out. No Masterminds Gold making it to the playoffs. In fact,
there you have it, Lepelos. If you click on the link in our schedule, you will see that the finals were finished earlier today.
Oh, sweet.
The Wikipedia site has not been updated yet. I forgot to update our own links with this. I apologize for that. But we do have a final here. No surprise. Honestly.
No surprise here. For the Kings making it through over Masterminds Blue. Masterminds Blue doing well to make it to the finals, managing to beat Darksided. So there you go, Jax. Sort of an upset there in the lower final.
I mean,
but 4-0
I think those two teams are fairly equal, so you could go. But I mean, right now, Kings is establishing themselves, Kings Gaming Club, I should say. They're establishing themselves as the top in Australia and New Zealand, Lepelos. Yeah. And as I said before, in the bi-monthly Brawl, can they now translate that into? Hopefully, they get an invite to OPC, and if they do that, can they make progress there? They don't have to win it, but can you compete with teams like AHQ and HKA in OPC? That's progression to me.
Yeah, Jax. Okay, so this there's a couple incomplete ones that we're not going to cover yet. We'll wait for next week if we're going to cover it then.
That is Southeast. Wait, would we just do Southeast Asia? No, I'm so confused.
We did Taiwan specifically. Listen, there's a lot.
There was Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. Is that not Southeast Asia?
There's more to Asia than that. Southeast Asia than that. There's also Latin America, which we haven't covered.
Why are they in Southeast Asia? What are you talking about?
And there's also Brazil. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that those are both parts of the whole of Southeast Asia. So
confused, Lepelos.
Still, I don't see an African or Middle Eastern open.
I did not notice that, Lepelos. I did in fact notice that, hopefully next time we'll have open division Africa and not just South Africa, but all of Africa. I'm curious to see what they have down there.
That's sort of our coverage for games this week. Do you want to go through a bit of a preview for the up and coming Overwatch World Cup 2017?
That's basically, I mean, we have the Asus ROG, but outside of that, we've got nothing else going on.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about this World Cup. We know what the lineups here for the quarterfinals are going to be. Just going to run those down. So we're going to talk about them a little bit each at a time. United Kingdom, Sweden, Jax. Anything you want to comment on in this matchup?
Before EU Contender Season 1, I would have said the Team UK at the qualifiers was nutty and insane and fantastic. Now, I don't know what to expect. Lepelos, what kind of shape? Boombox, right? Boombox went from Season 0 contenders, dominant. Went to qualifiers for the World Cup, dominant. Season 1, what happened to Boombox? Boombox went silent in Season 1, Lepelos. Cruz, Mikey A. So you're looking at three players here from E-United, Reunited, whatever they're called now, Lepelos. What kind of state are they in to play mentally?
I mean, on the flip side, you have Team Sweden, which have subbed out some of their players.
I don't.
Which is a whole other conversation. We'll save that conversation for
here, but I don't really like what Team Sweden did here.
We're gonna talk about that.
This is a toss-up here, man.
This is hard to read. I'm gonna go with Team Sweden on this one personally, Jax.
I'm gonna go with Team UK. I think a number of these players have something to prove. They did not get invited to Overwatch League season, preseason and season 1 Lepelos. And if what I'm hearing about there being a mid-season signing period, they're gonna want to have some film to show to showcase what they can do. I'm taking Team UK.
Okay, that sets up second quarterfinal in the upper bracket, Canada versus Australia. I've got to go with Canada on this one. I mean, honestly, particularly with recent blank performances.
Okay, should point out though, Lepelos, Kiki and Atar, formerly of Blank, so they were with Blank in season 1 OPC in the qualifiers. They stepped back from OPC season 2. That's when they brought in the 2 subs. Now Kiki and Atar are back with Blank for this quarterfinal here. I don't know what kind of practice time they've had, or what their teamwork is going to be like, Lepelos, but
I just feel like the strength coming out of the players on Team Canada are that much stronger.
Taking Team Canada, okay. I mean, Lepelos, that's perfectly fine. I read a really good article about Team Australia. I'm gonna try to find it. I probably won't find it in time, but it made me like Team Australia. I do have to say Team Canada will probably. I mean, I had to say raw talent. I'm sorry, like raw talent, and I'm very interested in seeing what Sure 4 is going to do, Lepelos.
Exactly. This is. I mean, it feels like
we haven't seen Sure 4. We have not seen Sure 4.
It's like watching a sports player that gets injured every now and then. I mean, I'm not saying Sure 4 gets injured. He's
Lepelos, you were writing Sure 4 off. You said he was washed up.
I'm saying he's overvalued, and he has to prove otherwise to me because he keeps on
overvalued. Wow, Lepelos, some people are saying Sure 4 is one of the hottest free agents out there.
And why does he keep on having teams that don't work around him despite having high talent?
Asking the hard questions. Will we get answers this week? We get answers from Team Canada.
Jax, even for Team Canada, it was largely Mangachu that made the most major difference. Like you noticed when, some of that is Mangachu's fault. Let's put it that honestly, he sucked as a diva. So,
Diva not as important, Lepelos, with the changes, but for me, I've got my eye out on Rolf. Have not seen anything from Rolf because Cloud9 did nothing. Rolf is one of the best Western supports, Lepelos. Joe Meister at FaZe, fantastic work from Joe Meister at FaZe. XQC now at Dallas Fuel. Agilities, I want to see, honestly,
they're looking good.
I'm curious in Agilities because his performance in Season 1 Contenders, Lepelos, not the best. He was in fact benched by Immortal, so of course we don't know why. But I think Team Canada, there are a number of questions that we have, and we might get some answers about some of these players.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. I think they're going to go through to the semifinals, Jax, and I'm not sure either UK or Sweden could beat Canada.
I would need to see
Canada could beat those teams.
If I could make these picks after I watch these quarterfinals games, I could tell you who's going to win the semifinals right now. If I had to pick right now,
I have to go with Canada just for a hometown team, but I'm not certain about that. If I was being analytical, I sort of feel like UK or Sweden will have
ride the UK horse, Lepelos. I'm sorry.
All the way to the finals.
I know you're my neighbor to the north. I'm sorry. I have to take UK over Canada.
That's okay, Jack. We're going to go right to the bottom of the bracket then, where South Korea is taking on US.
What about China, France?
We'll come back to China, France.
We're coming back.
We're talking about neighbors, so we might as well go here. South Korea, United States, Jax, how do you feel about your U.S. team
I'm taking Team USA, Lepelos.
I thought you might do that.
I'm hearing reports. Listen, Team USA putting in the work, Lepelos. They flew themselves out with they personally, Lepelos, out of their own pockets. I don't know who paid for it, but out of their own pockets. They flew themselves a week early down to NVIDIA headquarters in California, Lepelos. They've been boot camping. Team USA has been in the boot camp for a week, Lepelos.
That's good.
South Korea has as well. South Korea has actually been playing some of the Apex teams. We're in a Mercy meta, and Team USA has Adam. Adam is, where's Adam? The game we used to play, dude?
You can't hide anymore like Adam used to play like. So maybe that nullifies Adam's. But honestly, I think USA will force meta picks from from the South
Are you
Korean.
saying Flower is not just gonna do whatever he wants because Team South Korea is so dominant? Flower's actually gonna have to play.
I think he's gonna have to play, but I think South Korea will win because of it. So.
Ryu Jae-hung versus Adam on the Mercy.
Oh, we'll see what comes out.
Lepelos, I'm hearing Team USA in the scrims right now. Lepelos, really top-notch play out of Team USA. Are you taking South Korea over USA?
I'm going to take South Korea over USA. I'm sorry to my neighbors to the south,
goodness. Jack. Okay, I see how it is. I'm taking Team USA. Upset. I would honestly, at least best of 5 or best of 7? Probably best of 5.
Best of 5, I think.
I would love for this to go 5. I think, and honestly, looking at this, I know I won't get it. They're probably going to give us Doa and Monty. I want ZP and Hex to cast this game. I'm so happy that ZP and so looking at the commentators here, this is Doa and Monte Cristo. Of course, they're going to be together. Uber and Mr. X makes sense for them to be together, and then ZP and Hexagrams. I would really like ZP and Hex to get to the South Korea U.S. game. They won't. They're going to give it to Monty and Doa. I already know that.
Yeah, I mean,
but
reasons,
I would really like that.
All right, Jax, that puts us into the other match of the lower bracket: China versus France. Do you think?
Lepelos, this new Team China roster here, man, it's not the same. Like,
it's not the same. They have like 2 people from Miraculous Youngsters, 2 people from OMG or Oh My God, and Eileen from LGD, and Yun Feng too from Miracle Team 1.
I would say,
I think France
like
has
Zun Fanjun impressed me a lot.
Yes.
Listen, I think this might be okay. Undead for Leave. I don't know if that's a big upgrade or not. Leave. This roster is really good though, Lepelos. This China roster, if they can gel, if they've got teamwork, this could be really good.
I think on the flip side though, the France team has a lot to prove, particularly with a number of their members not being picked up yet for the Overwatch
Lepelos, we talked I talked about who was it, Team UK, some of their players having to prove something, right?
Yep.
Take a look at Team France. So we know Soon and Unko are picked up by the Los Angeles Valiant. Lepelos, from what I'm hearing, Nox is going to be joining some French super team for Contender Season 2. AKM, who knows? AKM says he's going to be under a bridge somewhere homeless. I don't know. Wins, we don't know. Nico, we don't know. At the end of Season 1, their last game against Envy, Rogue played better than they had all season, Lepelos.
Yeah.
Now they're back together. It's French national pride on the line, Lepelos.
I think they'll do it. I think they'll
France
do it.
versus China. Who do you have, Lepelos?
I'm going for France on this one.
The France. Viva la France.
Oh, yeah, they're actually going to practice this time and not show up and be flat like they were when they almost...
They were but they did give us the best game the best map we ever saw.
Hollywood versus Denmark.
From their qualifiers.
Denmark, where it was like 8-7 or something like that.
That was phenomenal game. Wow, that was so much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna take France, but people, listen to me now.
I'm not going to be
surprised. Put a few dollars on Team China, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. That team could surprise.
This is like a 50-50 pick.
I mean, it depends. See, I don't know what kind of work Team China is going to have together, but the players that they have, I'm really looking forward to seeing Eileen again, Lepelos. I'm sad that I see Undead is signing with the Shanghai Dragons and not Eileen. Eileen, one of my favorite players. Yeah. There's some rumors Eileen might go to PUBG now, Lepelos. That's what some of my I have very few contacts in China, but the one or two that I have, they're saying PUBG for Eileen. I hope not.
You got to follow the money, Jackson. Overwatch.
Lepelos, Eileen really good.
Overwatch dead game 2017. No.
We're both taking France, but again, I'm looking forward to this. I keep saying that.
I'm going to pick South Korea to go to the finals against
Team USA.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If USA beats South Korea, they're gonna win. They're gonna win it all.
I agree with that. I think if US can beat South Korea, then they probably will manage to make it all the way. And
I'm telling you, man. Team
I think
USA
South Korea is going to do that.
They put in that work. They have Coach Kai there. Coach Kai has worked wonders with Envy. Now the Dallas Fuel Lepelos. You doubt Coach Kai?
I don't doubt Coach Kai. I like his approach. I like his attitude to things, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to make Team US strong enough to beat South Korea for this matchup. We'll find out coming up very shortly. In fact, that's a day.
Okay, well, so then Lepelos,
almost 2 days away.
If you took Canada to make it to the finals, right?
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a hard one between Canada and the winner
that would be
UK,
South
Sweden.
for you. You have South Korea versus Canada in the finals.
Yeah, South
I
Korea
have USA versus UK. So our third place games would be rather different. But let me see. For my semifinals, I had UK and Canada. So that would be Canada versus France in the third place game for me. And you had what? Sweden versus France in the third place game.
Sweden versus France in the third place game.
So
in which case I'd choose France.
Okay, and for me that would be, I said what, Canada. I'd take France over Canada.
Yeah, and I would.
So we have
would
France
take that.
as so
we both have France as our third place.
Approaches, but France to take the third place for us here.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, Jax, I think that's pretty much our preview for the World Cup, and at the same time, the end of our podcast.
Last year around this time, I was not looking forward to the World Cup. World Cup was a joke, Lepelos. We didn't have proper teams. Like Team France last year, absolute disaster. Team France this year, all rogue, or I say ex-rogue. I'm looking forward to the World Cup. These are some good teams, and I like the slight uncertainty that we have. I mean, as dominant as South Korea is, and I'm putting my national fanboy aside, Team USA played so well in their qualifiers, Lepelos. The meta, I think, favors Team USA right now. Not favors, but it evens the playing field for them.
I think I agree with you. The only thing I would say about World Cup is just how long that break was between the summer matches and where we are now.
That's why they had this week-long time with Coach Kai. We're going to see 150K Sinatra. Is he worth 150K, Lepelos?
I don't know.
Lepelos, if he's worth 150K, he'll prove it. He'll prove it.
There you go. Okay, you're hearing from Jax. What if he isn't there? Is he only 75K Sinatra?
Lepelos, this is the beauty of the.
You take him off the lot,
contract.
does he depreciate?
He's like, hey, San Francisco Shock paid me my money. I'm good. He can't even play for like the first half of the season, Lepelos, because he's not 18.
That's absolutely nuts, man.
That also drives me crazy because so many people get like Flower. We're gonna see Flower here. "Quote unquote," the best DPS in Korea. Guess what? He won't be in Overwatch League because he's not 18. Come on, Blizzard,
crazy
please.
times, man. Well, Jax, we've made it. This was episode 60.
60? The end? Wow, 60.
Man, I know. It's like,
how long is this? I haven't. Oh my nipples! How? We had one game. I tried to speed us up, man.
I tried to speed us up.
We had one game. How are we over 90 minutes?
Jax, you're slowing me down like you're Mercy doing a res on the PTR. That's what you're
doing. I skipped over some of my notes for the series for APAC, man. I'm looking forward to BlizzCon. I'm looking forward to BlizzCon to see what Blizzard has. I want more Overwatch League information, Lepelos. I want more contenders information. I want to see them work the open division. I want it to matter, Lepelos. They talked about it being progression, right, from open division to contenders to Overwatch League. Right now, open division is a bit of a joke. There's no coverage at all.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm looking. I want a new map out of Blizzard. I want a new hero. I don't want some ARG. I want to just bam. Here's the next hero here.
Here's the details or whatever. And we'll have more next week for sure. But I think there's got to be some expectations going into this weekend of probably a new hero, possibly a map. Loosely
new game mode, Lepelos? You think new game mode?
I don't want a new game mode, Jax. They've got to work on balancing what they have here before
2CP, Lepelos.
Exactly. King of the Hill also can be boring, but I've got to say I did love the change to best of 3 format for competitive mode.
A lot of people don't like it. Us at the Overwatch Runner, not just because we don't like covering 5 rounds of Koth, but I don't see the need. If you play all 3 maps, there's no reason to revisit them because someone has an advantage. Yeah. You might be good, you might be bad, but it doesn't matter.
The only change I could see going forward to extend, because right now those maps are generally shorter, is to lengthen the count timer on that. That's the only thing I could see happening, because right now it's basically 4 fights equal a win on those maps.
I like it though, but I like the fact that it's different, right? It's a brawl.
Yeah.
Can you win your in this game? Can you win your brawls?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like it too. I don't see any point in changing those modes really too significantly. As I said,
would you want them to actually add the capture the flag mode as a full-time game mode?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I like. Don't get me wrong. I have fun in capture the flag mode. It would be horrible
I'm
for
trying to see how
actual
that would play
competitive.
out for in the pro scene.
Pro scene competitive flag just wouldn't be that interesting. I mean, I guess you can have some strategies. I
Right.
think it'd end up. The problem with pro strats in that is you end up with basically a very defense, like first team to score once ends up uh, holding up a defense, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
No, you're right. You're right.
So,
All right. So we're looking forward to BlizzCon, for
oh,
the Overwatch World Cup to see what Blizzard. I mean, Lepos. One of the biggest things I'm looking forward to, as I said in the pregame show, are spectator changes. I'm hearing
yeah.
everyone is talking about how great these spectator changes are. Show me the money.
The
Show
other
me the
thing,
money.
Jax, I want to know if I can get my Team Canada skins
In
as well.
game, dude, can I get my 150K jersey in game?
150K Sinatra jersey.
I'm
Listen.
saying.
I like the Canada skin for Doomfist. They had that on the reveal. He looked pretty
Right.
badass in that. So when I main Doomfist next season and force everyone to play around me, they can really be pissed off
Lepos,
passive
Doomfist viable. We
aggressively.
saw it in APAC. Doomfist is okay.
But you saw that video this week. I mean, I
No
know
joke.
it's a
Doomfist
month
actually
or
does
two
need
months.
work. There is,
Yeah,
I saw a YouTube video from it was a couple months ago,
is
but this
September
is
9th
after
or somewhere around there.
they made the hitbox changes. Doomfist needs some work.
Absolutely, he needs a
You
little
you
bit of love.
can't be it can't be that bad. Like otherwise, it was one clip was of Moon point blank on a Reinhardt and missing, and I it can't happen. It can't happen. But this is episode 60 of the Overwatch Rundown. You can hit us up on Twitter at OW Rundown. Like I said yesterday or earlier today, I posted a link of beautiful highlight, an example of falling into the Widow's trap at a professional level. Don't do it at the pro level. Don't do it in your own competitive games. I watched one of our viewers play his placement matches. He had a Widow on his team. Widow was bad. Widow fell in the trap, stayed in the trap, is probably still in the trap, and will stay in the trap for the rest of the season. Please, people, don't do it. You can find him at Lepolos. Those of you who are Sure 4 fans, let Lepolos know. Let him know you're Sure 4 fans and
Hey,
Sure 4 is not washed up and
I'm
overrated.
I'm just waiting for him to come out and show that he can play and compete on a high level because that's
All right.
not been happening.
He's at Lepolos. I am at Jax JAX_Blake on Twitter. You can catch us normally Tuesday night. This is Wednesday night because of Halloween, but every Tuesday night around 9:10, 9:15 Pacific on twitch.tv/Lepolos. You can also catch this on YouTube. Just Google Lepolos YouTube. I'm sure it will come up there.
Yep.
Thank you for sticking with us for 60 episodes. I'm honestly surprised we made it this far, Lepolos. We'll see. We'll
Yep.
keep it going as long as we can.
Keep the Overwatch rundown train going. Yeah,
Right.
we're gonna make it to the Overwatch League, Jax. It's gonna happen.
Episode 61, World Cup edition, coming next week. Thank you. Lepolos, hour and 35 minutes. Come on, man. How? We covered one series. One series, dude. How is this long?
Every time, Jax, over the music. Every time.
You know what? I actually never listened to it. Do I